What if the universe is not silent, but stratified? What if advanced civilizations are not hiding from us? What if we simply exist too low in the structure of reality to perceive them? We usually ask where we are in the universe, but the more dangerous question is this: at what level of reality are we allowed to exist? Part 1. The 7-layer universe. Where are we really standing? What if the most important question humanity has ever asked is no longer are we alone in the universe, but at what level of reality are we allowed to exist? In modern science, our cosmic position is no longer defined by poetry or philosophy, but by measurement, how much energy we can control, how deeply we can stabilize natural systems, and how far our understanding of reality actually reaches. From this logic emerged the Kardashev Scale, originally a simple classification of civilizations based on energy use, but later expanded by physicists and cosmologists into what is often referred to as the 7-layer universe model. In this framework, the universe is not a uniform arena where all observers see the same reality, but a stratified system in which each layer represents a different depth of interaction with existence itself. A civilization does not merely live somewhere in space. It occupies a specific layer of reality determined by its ability to harness energy and coordinate complexity. According to this model, humanity has not yet reached even the first true threshold. Earth today is classified around type 0.7 to 0.75. We exploit fossil fuels, nuclear reactions, solar radiation, and wind, yet we cannot regulate our climate, stabilize ecosystems, or manage planetary systems as a unified whole. In other words, we have not mastered the planet that sustains us. Here comes the first unsettling realization. If energy defines perception, then what we failed to control, we may fail to even notice. Halfway through this realization, another question emerges like a crack in the logic we take for granted. What if higher layers of the universe already exist all around us, but we lack the capacity to interact with them? Just as ants cannot perceive satellites or humans cannot directly detect dark matter, civilizations below certain thresholds may be blind to entire layers of reality. The 7 layers are not places stacked in space, they are modes of interaction. The lowest layer is raw matter and classical physics, where humanity currently operates. Above it lie layers of planetary scale energy control, stellar engineering, space-time manipulation, interstellar coordination, information-level reality, and finally a layer where reality itself behaves like a programmable system. At each step, the laws of physics may not disappear, but they cease to be sufficient descriptions. This leads to a profound implication. Without reaching type 1 civilization, humanity be structurally confined to the lowest experiential layer of the universe. We are not excluded by force, but by limitation. The universe does not hide itself from us. We simply do not yet possess the tools, energy, or coherence required to see beyond our floor. The silence of the cosmos, then, may not be emptiness, but altitude. Part 2. Why Type I civilization is not a technology problem. If becoming a Type 1 civilization were simply a matter of building better machines, humanity would already be close to the finish line. But what if the real obstacle is not technological at all? Type I civilization, as defined by the Kardashev framework, does not mean interstellar travel, futuristic megacities, or mass colonization of space. It means something far more difficult: complete and stable control over the energy systems of an entire planet. This includes climate regulation, full utilization of renewable energy flows, management of carbon and water cycles, and the long-term stabilization of ecosystems. Earth already receives more than enough energy from the Sun to support this transition, so the limiting factor is not physics. Here is the first hook that reframes everything. Energy is abundant, but coordination is scarce. Modern civilization is fragmented into competing subsystems, nations, economies, ideologies, each optimized for short-term survival and growth rather than planetary stability. Energy infrastructure is inseparable from political power, making cooperation structurally unstable. At the midpoint of this realization, another disturbing question appears. What if humanity as social operating system is fundamentally incompatible with planetary scale responsibility? Our brains evolved to prioritize immediate threats, tribal loyalty, and short-term rewards, while Type 1 civilization demands century-scale thinking, global identity, and suppression of primitive competitive instincts. This biological lag creates a dangerous acceleration gap where technology advances faster than collective maturity. According to systems theorists, the transition from Type 0.7 to Type I may be the most unstable phase any civilization can experience. Technological power becomes sufficient to trigger irreversible planetary collapse, while ethical and institutional controls remain inadequate. This may explain why so many civilizations, if they exist, never progress further. The 7-layer model reframes this as a filter mechanism. Each layer demands not only more energy, but higher levels of discipline, cooperation, and self-restraint. Type I is the first major filter, and it is unforgiving. Civilizations that fail to reorganize themselves around long-term stability do not fail upward, they stagnate or destroy themselves. From this perspective, humanity's greatest challenge is not inventing new tools, but learning how not to misuse the ones it already possesses. Before we can ascend the universe, we must first survive ourselves. Part 3. Advanced Civilizations and the Illusion of Cosmic Silence. Why does the universe appear silent if intelligence should be common? The traditional framing of the Fermi Paradox assumes that advanced civilizations would broadcast their presence loudly through radio signals, megastructures, or cosmic engineering projects. But what if that assumption is rooted in a fundamentally immature model of progress? Human history shows a clear pattern. The more efficient a system becomes, the less waste it produces. Early civilizations were noisy, inefficient, and visibly destructive. Advanced systems tend toward optimization and silence. Here is the first hook that challenges our expectations. What if the absence of signals is not evidence of absence, but evidence of success? Within the 7-layer universe model, civilizations that reach Type 1 and beyond may rapidly reduce detectable signatures by minimizing energy leakage, eliminating unnecessary radiation, and abandoning primitive broadcasting methods like omnidirectional radio waves. As a civilization ascends layers, it may shift its focus inward rather than outward, optimizing existence instead of expanding blindly through space. At the midpoint of this idea, a second unsettling question emerges. What if advancement does not mean going farther, but going deeper? Higher-layer civilizations may manipulate space-time locally, operate within highly stable structures, or transition into information-dominant modes of existence that barely interact with classical matter at all. From our perspective, such civilizations would be effectively invisible not because they hide, but because we lack the sensory and energetic tools to detect them. Visibility itself may become a liability at higher layers, as broadcasting power reveals location and increases systemic risk. In this context, restraint is not weakness, but intelligence. The concept of a cosmic quarantine emerges naturally. Civilizations interact primarily within their own layers, with contact occurring only when sufficient stability and compatibility exist. Earth, still struggling at type 0.x, may reside in the lowest interaction zone, not as a punishment, but as a consequence of instability. The universe may not be ignoring us, it may simply be waiting for us to become safe to interact with. Silence, then, is not rejection, it is containment. Part 4. Will Earth cross the first cosmic threshold or fail it? The final question is no longer abstract or philosophical. Is Earth moving toward Type 1 civilization, or drifting irreversibly away from it? The theoretical path is clear: planetary climate stabilization, sustainable energy dominance, global coordination mechanisms, and control over self-created existential risks, but implementation tells a more troubling story. Humanity's energy capacity grows exponentially, while its ability to cooperate does not. Technology accelerates faster than ethics, and power expands faster than restraint. Here is the opening hook that defines the moment we are in. We are strong enough to alter the planet, but not wise enough to govern the consequences. Midway through this realization, another question sharpens the dilemma. What if reaching higher layers of the universe is not a right, but a test? The 7-layer model suggests that access to deeper levels of reality is conditional, emerging naturally only when a civilization demonstrates long-term stability and self-control. From this perspective, 3 futures are possible. In the first, humanity reorganizes itself, achieves genuine planetary coordination, stabilizes Earth's systems, and crosses the Type 1 threshold, becoming a true planetary civilization. In the second, humanity avoids total collapse but remains permanently fragmented, never advancing beyond Type 0.x despite surviving for millennia. In the third, the most common and most dangerous scenario, technological power outpaces restraint entirely, leading to ecological collapse, runaway conflict, or irreversible damage before stabilization can occur. In this scenario, Earth becomes another data point in the universe's vast collection of failed transitions. Whether or not advanced civilizations are observing us is ultimately irrelevant, because the outcome depends entirely on our internal structure. The universe does not reward ambition, it responds to stability. If higher layers exist, they are not destinations to be reached, but states that emerge naturally once a civilization becomes capable of sustaining itself without self-destruction. Perhaps the universe is not silent because no one is there. Perhaps it is silent because we have not yet learned how to exist without tearing apart the system that made us possible.